must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa TV, the morning show by Miriam Ogutu and the rest of the panel that was there this morning. This second show, the editor's memo. We are going to be specific, short, precise, no longer stories. I'm going to do the analysis. And then I give each panelist, anything that you want to say. If you have something to comment, you can comment. But my analysis and the memo is final. Unless you want to change the rule of law upside down, as an editor, I've looked of what you have been talking. It's final. I'm saying so because most of the things that we have done on this television, nobody has disputed us. We predicted all this. We have told people about America. We have told people about democracy. We have told people about elections. Do people in Africa understand what elections is? What is election in Africa? It's a one-day event that everybody is waiting. To the extent that even academics, very men who are learned, who have gone to college, who are passed, who have PhDs, are talking that we are waiting for 8th, 9th, that we are waiting for 9th of August 2020. We want to hear, we are waiting for the 2nd week of August. Men who have gone to school, men who wasted their father's money that they went to school. They don't tell the people the truth that elections is not a day's event. Elections is a process. It begins with whatever is supposed laid down, guidelines of voter registration, voter education, ethics, accountability. That's what we call elections. Looking at the areas of that could trigger a crisis is also elections. You can't just move into an election when you know after voting you are going to have guns coming, everybody buying a gun to shoot each other. Why are we so stupid that we don't see the problem that we have? Americans come and tell us, don't deal with terrorists. But I want all of you to go to my page and read and find out when did they first talk about with this man who is the leader now of Taliban. Even Trump had a telephone call with the same terrorist, who is now the president of the new Afghanistan. Miriam. Why is it that Africa, we don't see this? Every African from every angle, when you go to Mr. Karanja's Facebook, is talking about we are coming to win elections. You know, by the way, Karanja, I monitor your Facebook. Every day, so don't tell me that you are not in Nanyuki when you are already somewhere where I see. So please, I'm not teaching a student who is going to tell me anything which is not the right figment of truth. If it doesn't have, don't. I always like your Facebook. You come up with fresh ideas, and I always read it. So go on that route. That is very good. I monitor all the pages of Tawish. I know what he writes. Just as you also look at what I write every day, and I'm happy that You are emulating the steps of daddy. I'm going. But look at what Americans did to us, Miriam. Even where you are seated there as a human being, when you see people, 650 people crowded in an Air Force aircraft, surely seeking to run to get a place. Oh, and most of them are men. What about the wives that have been left behind to be slaughtered by Taliban? You feel all right even to talk about this subject. Put yourself in a situation of a refugee like me. I've been a refugee. I know what it is to leave your country hurriedly. In 1985, 27th October, 10 a.m., we left Kampala at exactly, persuading President Obote at 4, until we had to do something which I can't tell you on this here now, how we got him across the border to Kenya for us to be able to be alive today. So I understand when you talk about evacuation. But let's come back to these two things: democracy, elections. I want you to listen to this clip. What is democracy? On democracy. Do you read from this clip? I want Karanja, Miriam, Tawish, and the viewers across listening to the editor's memo to tell me what you have got out of it. Stephen, Miriam, cue in the clip when it is ready.
Guys, I think this video will make some people angry.
Really? What is it?
Well, it's about democracy.
Democracy is good, right?
Well, that's exactly the problem. Hi, let's talk about democracy. When I was a kid, I was taught that democracy is the best. When you give one vote to one human and you let them vote in elections, you get a good government. But now that I'm older, I realize that I am wrong. The average voter doesn't know how to vote, and that's why democracy doesn't work. Take this example. Let's assume you're going on a plane, but before you fly, you and the passengers must democratically elect a captain. So you get two candidates. The first one says, if you let me fly the plane, I will abide by international laws of aviation and fly at 30,000 feet. But the second one says, if you let me fly the plane, you can sit in business class. And in today's world, the average person votes based on emotions and lack of information. So naturally, they will vote for the person that promised them a business class. Democracy will elect a terrible person who's never flown a plane. And before you know it, we all crash. I am convinced that running a government is just like flying a plane. It's hard and it takes experience, years and years of experience. Tariffs, nuclear weapons, geopolitics, healthcare, borders. These problems need real professionals. It takes 10 years to be able to fly a plane. But in our government, anyone can vote and anyone can run. Democracy changes government every 4 years, but the real problems need 20 years to fix. Democracy is a good idea, but is it the best idea? Take China and India for example. China, with its central government, lifted 300 million people out of poverty, while India, with its democracy, has 300 million people in poverty. I don't like China, but for some reason, they are succeeding. Don't get me wrong, dictatorship is not the answer, it is never the answer. But there might be alternatives to democracy that are worth exploring. Technocracy, epistocracy are just two examples.
But for now, the problem is real. In the world's biggest democracies, politicians use fake news, lies, fears, and free money to get attention, and the democratic system allows voters to believe them in the millions.
We are voting for people who promise us a business class and they don't even know how to fly. As someone once famously said, the best case against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Let's fix democracy before we all crash. See you next week.
The courtesy of YouTube. And we thank you very much. I picked that clip, I researched and I picked it. I wanted people to understand what really democracy is and the difference between democracy and elections. If you have done elections, have you done them democratically? If democracy is the center of elections, why is India so poor while China is very rich? Miriam, Miriam, there you are. This is my question I have put to the panel. India, with the best democracy in the world, China, with the same population, just across the border, is not poor. It has served its population, while in India, over 70 million people, or 700 million people are very poor. Why? Yet India does elections regularly. And China has no elections. But both of them are the tigers of Asia, the growing Asia. Both. India, you saw what happened, COVID-19. China, you saw what happened. It brought us the COVID we have today. Nobody has asked them how. But here we are, Miriam. And the panel, Tawish. Let me begin with Miriam. Maybe she has an answer. Try.
I think the difference is the leadership both countries have had, the people that have been in charge of the country for a period of time.
The difference. You are talking of the difference.
Yes.
But the difference, Miriam, the editor's memo finds out that the difference of China and India. China got independence in 1940. It started a revolution in 1947, isn't it? That's the same year India got independence. Isn't it? You have forgotten India got independence from the British 1947. They said, we have had enough. Don't come here to harass us. They embarked on their programs. But the path of democracy, the point here you have made is the difference in approach. Has Africa learned from that lesson? Have we learned from the two? That today China, there's no democracy in China. But there's democracy in India, where you have elections that take 6 months while people are voting. That you have elections that nobody contests and goes to the streets and burns down areas. But it is poor. But yet it has a bigger population similar to that of China. Why hasn't it manufactured itself? Why hasn't it manufactured its goods? Why do we buy? Why is India used as a hub to manufacture and take out, but leave the Indians poor? The answer lies to the question of Afrikaans. If you talk, if you read, if you, at the end of this show, in the next few minutes, about 20 minutes, when you go back to your study room inside the studios, Miriam, you will find the solution. You'll find the answer. When you hear of why India was used to produce, to the extent that there were Indians, the whole community of Indians became British nationals. Can you show me one country where Chinese became the real British Chinese, apart from Hong Kong? Apart from Hong Kong, why is it that the British did not carry Chinese back to the mainland, the main island, Britain, but they carried them somewhere within China and developed a model there? But whereas in the situation of the Indian subcontinent, the British really physically carried the Indians and brought them to the island of Britain, gave them passports. Why? And if you look at the two countries, in Hong Kong, the territory developed faster. Why? Still the same policy, the doctrine remains the same. The doctrine that developed India into a service industry is the same doctrine that developed Hong Kong into a service industry. Tawish, are you there? When you grew up and started journalism, were you not told, I wish I passed through Hong Kong? What were, Miriam, you must have been told Hong Kong is a lovely city.
A friend of mine, yes, a friend of mine went there recently and said it's a very nice.
Garanja, you were told Hong Kong, that's the best. Why? The doctrine. Garanja, you know the doctrine. The British doctrine is different from Chinese doctrine. They airlifted people. They taught them to manufacture. They never wanted trouble. They never wanted trouble. They only brought people. But if Britain had brought Chinese, carried the Chinese, transferred Hong Kong into London, can you imagine what would be happening in Karanga? The explosion of the population. The island would be sinking. So several factors came and they said, no, let's leave them in Hong Kong and put Hong Kong as the center of world attraction, a display of British civilization. Whereas India, let's have it as a colony, a supply of raw material and the human material. The richest people in the United Kingdom, you know who they are?
Indians.
They are my brothers from Uganda. They are Ugandans. They are no longer Indians. But the answer you gave, Indians, yes, correct. But when you go deeper, they are Ugandan Asians. Most of them Kenyan Asians. A few Kenyan Asian millionaires you find there. But the cream is the real cream that pays. Look here, that gets a check and gives to Boris Yeltsin. I say, Manterere, where? Just go and conduct business. Eh? Have you not of late that the Conservative Party is full of Asian community? The Minister of Home Affairs is a Ugandan lady. She's an Indian from Uganda with roots from Uganda. Actually, from my town. I physically know her from my town. The current Minister of Home Affairs of Britain is from my town in Bali. The father came, she was, honestly, look at that. But she has reached the apex of ruling a country. She could become the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Am I wrong, Tawish? You can't rule her out. Because of the doctrine. So the point I'm making here, and the point that clip has taught us, because our television is to educate. We don't care about the numbers. Get our clip and learn from us. There can be 2 or 3 or 5 seated under. Once they are learning something of the kingdom of God, isn't the bread coming? Hallelujah. Is the bread coming? Not, Mr. Tawish. Are you not happy? That 3 of us can discuss something that will teach the world. If we formed our clips into a very serious, which we should do, which Miriam, when I'm coming that side, I'll tell you what other people have been doing about our clips. They are earning a living out of us, which is part of our life. That is what we do. We lead, others follow. Have you ever driven from Mombasa? There's a bus always that other way. It's called the coach. It said, we lead, others follow. So it is, when you find a man has cut all your tapes and he's earning a living out of YouTube, that's very good. William, are you not happy? When you go home, you say, at least I made a point here. On this patches Africa. I made a point here on Matanga Africa perspective. I made a point here on this and that and that. That is the doctrine. So when you look at this clip, most of us in Africa have not understood the doctrine of democracy. The Chinese have understood the doctrine of democracy. That's why today they are better off in understanding the world better than Miriam and us who are begging their money. Bring us SGR, the railway is broken down. Please come quickly. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? They knew the doctrine and you had the 100% correct. Different prayers. In fact, the word I wanted to hear from you is different stakeholders. If you are studying political science like me, which I believe you study, or you are on it now, those are the words that you will be mostly use, stakeholders. Different. The stakeholders for India and the other one are different. Does it worry you that you are in London and your British gas or electricity is being connected on phone from India? The person answering you is in India, in New Delhi. And is saying you, Dr. Matanga, can you tell us, we know your address already. Can you tell us where the gas, the pipe is broken? I said, oh, well, are you not down in Croydon? In Croydon City? No, I'm very far away, but somebody will be with you in 2 hours' time. We know what the problem is, and he's going to come with a machine because the property is yours. You'll have to pay. And I'm telling you, Miriam, they tell you exactly what to pay on phone, but they are in India. So it's the doctrine. When the British arrived on this continent, they wanted a show off of doctrine. They wanted to teach us to have elections every 5 years. They wanted you to learn what the doctrine is, to make a show like that of Zambia. Because Zambia has got, did you realize that Zambia is a very strange country? Have you ever been to Zambia? I have been to Zambia. And if you reason, you put a Ugandan and a Zambian to reason, a Kenyan and a Zambian to reason on democracy, you know what? You'll be ashamed and close your face and run away. As a Ugandan, I just want to hide under my table. When a Zambian is talking about election, democracy, Zambians know that they knew very well that Chiruba was very bad, but they gave him the votes. Why? They wanted Chiruba to show them another part, which Kenneth Kaunga did not do. Now, after Chiruba left, Manawasa comes in, takes over, arrives on the scene, changes the scene, because Chiruba was very bad. That is it. Look, Miriam, the essence of my topic today, that is the doctrine. Have you seen the doctrine of democracy growing up in Zambia? If it goes on like that, very soon Zambia give it 20 years. They might not even go to elections. They can call election like that, snap, pop, 9 months, bring it. This is very bad because people are understanding. A leader of opposition who has been harassed, who has been even stopped from movement, tells the people, if I hear anybody looting or harassing anyone, I want the police to arrest them. I want to ask something very painful to my Kenyan people, starting from Miriam, Chawish, and have you ever heard of our leader, any of our leaders? After winning elections, what do they say? Or losing elections, what do they say? Have you ever attended the losers' press conference here? Eh? Today, this morning, let's chat. Let's understand. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the comments that the people from Nigeria are making. They are looking for Buhari. Don't look for Uhuru. Look for Buhari. Buhari is in London, in a hospital, Charing Cross.
He's back home. He's isolating.
Now he has escaped you. He's gone home. You are still harassing us who have nothing to do with what happened. That is okay. It's not a doctrine. You see the type of life we have? That's what Africa has. They change the doctrine on you. They leave the real problem instead of now asking Africa, Pan-African Forum, punchline, to start bringing a show or release Nnamdi Kanu. That we can do without you insulting us, because for us, we don't know anything about what happened, what he was doing, where he was going, who was he with. We don't know. But we don't, because Miriam brought a good thing. Stakeholders have not asked why we became collateral damage. Our collateral damage was because we interviewed Nnamdi Kanu. That's what Africans are. Because Matanga interviewed Nnamdi Kanu. Therefore, Matanga should know what Nnamdi Kanu was eating at his house. Therefore, I would know what type of people he was moving with. Therefore, I know how much money he has on account. No, please. Time has come for Africa, Miriam, to change its mindset, to create a doctrine A British doctrine today still lingers around British colonies. They wanted Kenya, Uganda. Why is it that when they built a railway, they did not end there? They pushed the railway back inside, up to Kilembe, across towards Congo. Do you notice that the railway was going towards Congo? If it had not been the king of Brussels, of what is this stupid Belgium, who said, "Don't, if you cross, we shall break a wall." Do you know where the British railway was going? Look at Kasese and look at Democratic Republic of Congo. Have you seen the map of Uganda and the Kasese, where the railway ended? It was going for the goods. It was going for the diamonds, the uranium. They knew it was there, Miriam. They knew the oil was there in that Albertine region. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I think one of these days with this type of suits, it may go and preach hallelujah. And the Miriam come to my church. A few days ago, I read Isaiah chapter 45. I want you to read, look at it. I opened it randomly. It gave me a vision. Randomly. And God talked to me and said, "You might not recognize me, but you are in exile. Even if you hate me, I like you." Go and read Isaiah 45. Randomly, I opened it. Said, "I know you don't subscribe to me, but I will still look after you." Oh my God, Miriam, I shook. My bones shook. I said, "What is this? God is running something which I don't know about you." And I went further to say, "I will liberate you from this bondage, and I will always remain your Lord ahead of you." Does Africa realize that God has been very lucky with us? I don't know what name Tawish wants to give me, but let me ask Tawish to go, probably go at it as we have a few minutes, yes, left. We have about 15 minutes, then we close the subject. Yes, Tawish.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, and of course the panelist. But again, I think I really love your mastery of the Bible, and in fact, it's a great inspiration that this morning really you've made that great quote. And I think after this show, indeed, I will personally be going through the Bible as well to just want to understand the same, Dr. Masanga. But again, thank you so much on this topic that you're handling this morning. I think looking into the African continent today, and if I was to give Kenya as an example, this issue of elections, this issue of democracy, what we call democracy indeed, I don't think that we are yet there, Dr. Masanga, because we are not mature enough to be able to embrace democracy. There's a question you asked as to what normally happens after the election. The press conference or the message that comes from the winner and vis-a-vis the one that comes from the loser. Is it the question of embracing the person who lost the election? Is it accepting defeat with humility? That is not our case, and that is what democracy should be, if at all we are talking and want to practice democracy. But again, I think we just borrowed this particular, of course, borrowed this mentality of a democracy and election, which we cannot quite live with. Because again, you've seen what is happening in developed countries. You've given us as the example of, for example, India and China. And why is it that it's not India with almost the same population is not as developed or is not developing with the faster speed as China is doing? Because of the way they are doing their politics, because the people and the leadership in that particular country are concerned more on service delivery and not preoccupied with elections, preoccupied with democracies that we usually call here. Dr. Masanga, as we speak today, even if you are to have an election today, Believe you me, immediately after the declaration of the results, we will continue having campaigns. People again stare their eyes again, put their sight again on 2027 general election. So it is not about what they want to do for the people, but just to grab power. But also in that video that you played, Dr. Masanga, they have talked about the issue of fake news. They have talked about the role that the money really, the money plays. That people who have amassed a lot of illicit wealth, they are using this money to confuse and induce voters really to vote for them. But we are not very keen on the kind of people really that we want to vote in. Just like they gave an example of a pilot, that you need a person who's experienced really to be able to fly an aeroplane. So is leadership, Dr. Masanga. Today, you cannot just get anybody from the streets, anyone who wants just to put his name on the ballot, that they are ripe enough really to provide leadership for a country like Kenya today. So I think it is very critical. This should serve really a lesson, Dr. Masanga, and it's very important that you are having this discussion so that Kenyans and Africans who are listening to this program can be able to understand. Maybe gradually we need to shift away from that mentality that the answer to our problems is democracy and elections, that once we go to the ballot, then we'll have solved our problems. I think we need to have a different approach altogether. For now, Dr. Masanga, I submit.
Thank you very much. Dawish, go back and read. And you look at that. It shocked me. It was me reading it. I didn't plan to open it. Then God commanded me to say, go, 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 go. Even I know you don't like me, but I like you. I know. Continue doing what you are doing, but I'm with you. Strong enough. And Dawish, I will whisper to Miriam when I cross over wherever she is. What I had after that revelation, something people started themselves, those who were doing, I will tell you. They say, I am not the one. I am, so you can see, God is always great. Karanja, Javan Karanja. Javan.
Yes, Dr. David Masanga.
Yes.
The rest of the panelists. Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, it's your chance, boss.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Yeah, it is said, in those days, God used to talk to his people through the prophets. But these days, God talked to his people through the Bible. Maybe God is seeing a prophet in you, and that's very encouraging. On the issue of democracy, I'll say that democracy for Africans, I think, is a new phenomenon. This is an unknown thing that we are practicing. Is something new. Therefore, it will take time for us to adapt and know how really these things works, because from what I see in Africa, democracy is prone to manipulation. That is why you find the political elite, they take advantage of this phenomena they call democracy to manipulate the voters to continue amassing illicit wealth in this public office, and they continue getting votes under through systems that are not quite credible. That is why you find every time we go for elections in most of African countries, the issue remains with the Electoral Commission, because they end up being manipulated by these politicians so that they can remain relevant, so that they can remain in political office. Then the issue of money. This democracy goes hand in hand with money. Therefore, these leaders, after amassing a lot of wealth, they come around and they manipulate. They come and they give this money, they dish out money to the voters and they confuse them. Therefore, we end up having voters who cannot make upright decision, who cannot make a wiser decision based on their integrity, based on their knowledge, but they make a decision based on who gave them the big amount of money. Therefore, that is why we end up having bad leaders. That is why after 60 years of independence in African continent, we are still struggling with the infrastructure. We are still struggling with social amenities like schools and hospitals, because we don't look for experience. We don't look for leaders who are integrity. We look for leaders who give us money, who corrupt our mind. And I think it's an advantage to the politicians, because they want the voters to remain poor so that they can continue manipulating them. Because a hungry man is easy to manipulate. And I think that is why they're not keen on developing the African continent, because they know if they do that, if the voters opened their eyes, then they might not be in this position in the first place. Therefore, I think the issue of elections, the issue of democracy in Africa is something new, and we need, if we can have an hybrid, if we can have a mixed approach where we can have maybe getting leaders through another means, then it can be easy for us to hold them accountable, because this issue of democracy and the constitution that we have makes it very hard. And you know, these leaders, they make sure that if they get to this position, it will be very hard. It will be like squeezing water from a stone to hold them accountable for the things that they are doing in office. That is why they are so immune. You cannot even take them to a court of law anyhowly. That is why they end up having all the latitude to do what they want to do. Therefore, I think it's high time that we have an approach that is citizenry oriented, an approach that will ensure that the leaders get a value for their vote. Because with the current dispensation, I don't see our citizens getting a value for their votes or for the leaders that they put in office. When you look at Zambia, and I think this is another point that Kenyans and other African countries need to emulate. When you lose an election through a democratic process in a very open and transparency manner, there's no need to contest. You just need to accept the results and move on. And I think our politicians are the key presidential contestants as we head to 2022 general election. They need to copy something from what happened in Zambia. They need to copy so that we can put our country as a first priority. When leaders come together and work to take this country to the next level, I think that is the best option. Therefore, we need to ensure that we have the issue of taking the country together, regardless of who is in position, provided they get in position through the constitutional means.
Yes, thank you very much, Javan. You have talked about Zambia. I want to tell you one thing that Zambia has. It has a doctrine. It picked a doctrine. The first president of Zambia, Keke Kaunda, lost an election. He would have used the power to stick on the seat. He conceded. And from that day, Karanja, you have disappeared. From that day, elections in Zambia move in that direction. A doctrine. That's what the editor's memo tries to bring out, sir. Doctrine. We bring out some silent words that the people don't see, but they go around on the surface talking about them. Ruto talks about economy. But how do you talk about economy when you don't have a doctrine of discipline in an economy? What does an economy want? How did Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hong Kong become a pinnacle? It's because of that doctrine, Miriam, isn't it? They had a doctrine of discipline. The Prime Minister of Singapore took his friends in jail, asked Ruto whether he will be able to take people in jail. Can Ruto imprison Linturi, who has become a master of all activities on planet Earth? You know, when it comes to women, is a master. When it comes to house, fighting for a house is there. When it comes, leaders, if he was in Britain, he could have just resigned. Because you went to a wrong room where you mad. In fact, you need to be taken to a psychiatric wing of Madare to be found that you have opened the wrong room. Were you too drunk? You see, these are some of the things. Then you turn up to say they started fighting you. A man has discovered you in his own room. And the wife says, okay. Okay, here I can also blame the wife. Is that don't you have signs of your own husband? For me, my wife has signs. And I don't want to discuss it because of the daytime TV regulations. So, Miriam, doctrine. Zambia had the doctrine. Thank you very much. Therefore, elections, democracy, are they related? Karanja, answer. Are they related? Don't give. You know, I know you are growing to be a senior lecturer, but just a short one. Democracy and elections, are they related?
Yes.
No.
They are nuclear family.
Tawish. Democracy and the elections, are they related?
I think they are related, Dr.
Medium.
Democracy emanates from, elections emerge from a democracy. So elections is found in one forms of democracies. We have democracy, and then we have forms of democracies, which is one of them direct elections that like we have in the country. We have, socialism and all the other forms of, democracies. So it emanates from democracy election, but it's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, it is one form of democracy.
No, all of you, Miriam came closer. All of you, Miriam, you tried. Thank you. You have 7 out of 10. Tawish, you have 0 out of 10. Karanja, you have 0 out of 10.
Oh my God.
Yes. I gave you an example of China and India. Surely can't you tell me something that I can see? You can be democratic. You can hold an election free and fair. Mm-hmm. Can you hold an election and it becomes free and fair if you don't have a doctrine? But then look at China. It doesn't hold a free and a fair election. It has no. Do you call what is in China not democratic?
It is it is a form of democracy. It is. Mm-hmm.
That's why you got 7. Thank you. You got a good 7. You came closer. You were going to know. If I was marking your work, Mama, I would give you, and then add you the format. There is democracy in China. Have you been people driving cars upside down? Is there no rule of law in China? Is there no rule of law?
There is. There is.
If there is, Karanja. So
there is.
Let's not mix the two. Miriam, you hit this morning. You are very bright. You did it very well. Came close. I am shocked. The boy child needs help here.
Boy child.
you should have just, you should have come like the way Miriam came. She came closer to delivering what I was looking. But let's look at this final 1-minute clip of Rambo. Most of you have seen the Rambo films. Stephen, if you are ready, we shall finish at exactly 11:30. And then, Miriam, that's it, we are done. Let's look at that clip.
This is Afghanistan. Alexander the Great tried to conquer this country. Then Genghis Khan, then the British. Now Russia. But Afghan people fight hard. They never be defeated. Ancient enemy, make prayer about these people. You wish to hear? Very good. It says, may God deliver us from the venom of the cobra, teeth of the tiger, and the vengeance of the Afghan. You understand what this means? That you guys don't take it.
Thank you very much, viewers. I don't know. I can see Tawish is smiling. You have listened to that small clip. Miriam is smiling also. I haven't seen Karanja's reel. Most of you who have watched, and I can see Dr. Nyachama has joined in, or trying to join in, I don't know. From which, wherever it is. We have only, how many minutes? 9 minutes. Miriam, crack it for us, girl, today. Boy, girl child.
I did not exactly, get the whole message there.
Okay, let me open up first. Afghanistan remains where the horses remained. You remember? And somebody, Rambo, told you in 1990s that Afghanistan, Tawish, what did he say now in that clip? That this is a very deadly territory. But the truth now remains, it comes out today. The editor's memo, we have discovered that Mr. Trump had a security deal with these guys. He telephoned the current leader of the Taliban and struck a deal. Have you seen the word I am looking for, Miriam? Struck a deal. And we are here being told to sentence people. Sentence them. They are terrorists. But we have to be careful, our lie. We have to be very careful that Kenya and Uganda are in the same state. We are in Somalia. Didn't I tell you this? That I raised it somewhere and I said, perhaps America is negotiating with Al-Shabaab in a hotel in Asmara, and perhaps there is also a meeting in Doha. Didn't I say that, Miriam? It did not take long before a crisis sprang up in Tigray. IGAD and the African Union had sidelined Eritrea as a conduit and they left it out of their proceedings. IGAD suspended Eritrea. America forced us to bring back Eritrea and cleared Eritrea as a good state that can be part and parcel. Why? Why? Now you can see the format. Why, Miriam? Why Javadi Karanja? Why Olesesana? It's because very simple. They used it as a conduit for the Taliban and Al-Shabaab to reflect before they fly into Doha. Have you now discovered that? The whole president of the United States had a telephonic conversation with the guy who is now leading Afghanistan into the Empire of Emirates. When Saudi Arabia shouted and said, we don't want Qatar planes to pass over our territory, can you tell me the countries that came up in defense of Qatar? You know it. Miriam, open up a bit there. Now I've opened something for you.
Yeah, but Doc, I think both countries are guilty of sponsoring these extremism activities across the world, both Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
What about America and Qatar? And then America is and the current leaders? What can you tell the world today?
Yeah,
what can stop America from telling Al-Shabaab and negotiating with them, and then you'll see Al-Shabaab in the city of Mogadishu.
Qatar is very silent.
No, what? No. Boss, nyenye sasa nyenye muko hapa, tuko wa Kenya na Waganda sisi, ndio. Mimi niko Muganda. Al-Shabaab has killed us before, has killed my brothers in Mogadishu. America runs to tell us of human rights. Are there human rights in Afghanistan now? If you see people running a plane, you know how the speed when the plane takes off and people are running under? Is that not a very dangerous, worse than Saigon? You remember Saigon?
Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. The history has repeated itself. Isn't it? Hallelujah. Today I've become very, 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 very religious. Maybe I'm also a grand mullah of Africa. I don't know which name Miriam can give me, but I fit with this type of suits. Miriam, look here. It's the same. You are always a student of international relations. Look at that complex situation. That you can be caught up in a web. That America pays you to go and do a peace process in Juba. And go to the United Nations Security Council. Endorses your actions by saying there is a peace process. We have appointed Chisano, and Dr. Matanga is negotiating authoritatively on behalf of the rebels. Have you heard that? I'm now bringing an example for you. Then, all of a sudden, as Matanga shuttled between Juba, Nairobi, Addis Ababa, Khartoum, Kampala, I finished my peace process. I met Museveni for the first time after 22 years of bitterness, of us exchanging very dangerous words, calling each other names, saying, where you're a refugee, where you are from, not Uganda. I used to say that. You are not supposed to be even talking about our country. I used to say that, but I decided, have you seen how, are you seeing this picture I'm bringing to you, Tawish? Shuttling between all these capitals. On planes, Kinshasa, I met, which capital didn't I go in search for peace? But finally, on 14th of December 2008, the same Americans using the tomahawks that were placed in Djibouti, Africa, using tomahawks. Have you seen now? And this is Matanga going to go into. Do you know what? I was supposed to go to take a final document. Hey, Miriam, don't I have 7 lives? I was supposed to take 7 on 12th and the 13th. On 14th, I was supposed to present the final document. I have a document which President Museveni has signed. And I'm now taking the final document to the leader of the rebels to sign. Miriam, listen to me, watch and cry tears. 14th of December 2008. Tomahawks. So, you know what? They pass here, we don't see them. All the way from Djibouti, the port of Djibouti. Who was supposed to die now? Who? Tawish, tell me. Who? Wasn't it me? Wasn't it me with my delegation?
Sure.
And on this journey, Riaka said 2 helicopters and parked all of us. And they had parked the helicopters ready for us to depart. Listen. Then, and listen to me, Miriam, carefulness, and being also with that 70 cents or 76, whatever you call it. I said, but how are we going without security? I'm not going there without security. Either Rugunda or Riak accompanies me. Miriam, hii kitu nakwambia sahi ndio ya haki. Either one of them will come with them on the plane or Kisano. If not Kisano, I want Mr. Mandeira, the head of AMISOM, the one who is heading AMISOM in Mogadishu. Mandela said, no, I can't go. No, I said, then the mission is abort. The mission abort, so let me go back to Nairobi. Are you hearing me, you people? Can I go back to Nairobi, please? They said you are very, very, I told you, Salva Kiir, please don't address me that way. I'm a leader of a peace delegation. I can also tell those rebels, I've gone. I've departed out of it. Then you sort it. Miriam, that's how bad it was. Now tell me, my sister, what the Taliban have done, what Rambo told you, is exactly what I went through. That's why I brought that double standards. The Americans knew all along that there will come a time when the people of Afghanistan will be left on their own. They now don't care. They carried enough cocaine and a bangi to stock them for years to come. If they want to use it, they can use it. They left the Talibans killing people, slaughtering people. Miriam, have a go. You have already had a go on it, isn't it?
Yes. Tawish.
Tawish. As we close.
Oh, very well. Thank you, Dr. And I think, Dr. you've already laid it bare. And looking onto the Americans' hand or role in what is happening today in Afghanistan, really, it makes me become skeptical a bit about America's foreign policy and how it is becoming detrimental every other day. Because again, when you look into what is happening in Afghanistan today, in Kabul today, I think it's very unfortunate. And I remember even in the lead up to declaration by, of course, America that they are withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. Most of us through this Punchline Africa TV or platform did really were suspicious that maybe there's something that is cooking. There's something that is hidden. There's a hidden agenda behind, of course, America's sudden pullout of troops from Afghanistan. And it is now here. It is out for everyone really to see. Just like you've alluded to, Dr. Masanga, I suppose that America knew it very well that once they pull out, then this is going to happen. It cannot just have been coincidental. Maybe there have been part and parcel of whatever that has been happening in Afghanistan, really to destroy that particular nation. And it points even to what you are talking about Mogadishu today. We are also very skeptical as Kenyans, as people in this particular East African region, because if they can do that with the Taliban, what makes it difficult for them really to collaborate even with the Al-Shabaab and make it difficult or not possible for these people of these particular nations really to coexist peacefully and with stability, Dr. Masanga. So as it is today, we need to be on the lookout. We need really to watch out on America and its foreign policy. It's no longer a friendly kind of policy for, especially for African people, and that is where we really need to put our attention and see how best we can put safeguards so that we are not caught off guard when they come for us. Dr. Masanga, I submit.
Thank you very much. Javani Karanja.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Masanga. And I agree with Tawish. I don't see why the American can hold their soldiers, our army, for 20 years in Afghanistan, trying to restore sanity and peace. Then they just pull it suddenly, and knowing the repercussions of doing so. Then this is why we see there's something hidden. There was a hidden agenda. And if it comes in public domain that the former president, Donald Trump, talked with the leader of Taliban, then a lot of things are happening behind the scene. And this is high time that Africans also need to open their eyes when they relate with the American in terms of the foreign policies, and understand that Americans will do anything that benefits them, not really what benefits the African. Therefore, it's upon the African continent to ensure that when it comes to the fight terrorism, we can do it, we can amass the resources to ensure that we do it really without relying on the Africans. If the issue of Al-Shabaab, the Africans need to wake up and ensure that our army, and they are doing the right thing without really relying on these Americans, because it seems like they might be having a hidden agenda and might be just there fighting for this, and maybe the Americans have a hand on these kind of groups. Therefore, these are awakening up call. These are an eye-opening moment for Africans and other leaders across the world. I submit.
Thank you very much, all of you, Miriam. Thank you for editor's memo. I believe this morning we have learned quite a lot of things. Some of them new, some of them usual, some of them trivial, some of them we look at them as they are, but we don't go deeper to the meaning. Why China is giving us money, but we are not querying why. What has united them to be able to give us some money, which they don't, which other countries give us with strings? Is China also making it possible? Is China making it possible?
All right, Doctor, let me end it for you.
Yes. Just a minute,
yes.
Miriam.
Yes.
There was some noise coming out from the window.
Mm.
Is China making it possible for the world to see the difference between a doctrine, between democracy and the elections? That is the topic of the editor's memo this morning. Mr. Bismarck Bora, selection is different from election. You see that type of reasoning. We haven't talked about it. Everybody, every Kenyan knows that it is different from selection and democracy. Mm-hmm. But in China, they select the good people, cadres who come. Have you ever seen an MP in China coming with a briefcase in Mombasa that I'm a member of parliament, flashing out a card to say I am a member of parliament of China? If one of you have found any, and if Mr. Bura, Bismarck Bura, my friend, has found one, show me. Show me one card of a member of, the one that you find in Mombasa is Brigadier General Sung Swang Kwan. Is Major General Wang Bi So. Eh? Miriam, when he's having a prisoner or white cap, and you see them coming to celebrate like the way we people celebrate, that have brought a railway, it is nearby, it crosses the ocean, And now I'm transforming Mombasa. This evening, I feel like having a beer in White Sands. Have you seen them there? Have you wondered, Tawish and Miriam and Karanja, we were a few days in Mombasa a few weeks ago. Did you see any of the Chinese eating meat in the place where we ate meat? And unfortunately, Miriam missed it, which was very bad of manners of Tawish and the boys, boy child. But Miriam, look at it. Did you see them there? They were not there. But if you had general managers from America, they would collect all black people who are digging this railroad, the road. The self-made, man. The self-made. Eh? Do you see Chinese eating your food? They have a doctrine. They lend money, they came to build, and you don't say they will not build. Have you seen any project anywhere in the world in court of arbitration? A Chinese saying he did not build a road. Or he was not paid. Show me one contract in China where they say he was not paid. But we have a contract of Maina Wanjigi. Jimmy Wanjigi saying he was not paid and he got free money. Is that a doctrine? Maina was paid $23 billion, isn't it? Yeah. You have forgotten that payment that almost made Kenya dry. Is that a doctrine? So I submit. We meet here at the Diaspora Dispatches this afternoon. Miriam will lead us through it. But the topic is this. The tears of Afghanistan. Miriam will do her Africa position, lead all those things for us, but let's take 20 to 30 minutes to discuss the tears of Afghanistan in the Diaspora Dispatches. You are all invited, Jim Karanja and the Dr. Nyachama and the rest of you, all our people watching us. That is going to be very interesting this afternoon. The tears of Afghanistan. We cannot leave lips. Our lips cannot dry until we find either America stops halfway and returns a rapid force to stop the monster of Taliban slaughtering innocent people. Remember, in Afghanistan, because of Afghanistan, I'll tell you this afternoon, with tears flowing, I lost my great friend, an ally from Pakistan, called Benazir Bhutto. She was killed by Osama bin Laden. Because if she took over power, she was going to take over power. She would have handed over Osama bin Laden to the Americans. They struck her, they killed her. I will soon make a lecture in memory of Madame, my comrade, old girl, Calcutta House, Benazir Bhutto. Thank you, Miriam. The tears of Afghanistan. You are the lead. You are the lead anchor. Lead us through with all your African news. I will join you quietly. And I join with Tawish quietly. And we do bring out the memories. Remember, if we don't cry for these people, Miriam, if we don't keep this topic on, people are going to forget it so easy. But there's one. Have you not seen that they have forgotten about Rohingya? Have you not seen that? Are these people still not living on water? That's what the world is. So if your child brings you a certificate reading international relations, look here, I'm not telling you to beat up the child. Just look here. And they say, okay, thank you very much, my child. I wasted my money. But you have now, since you have qualified, I hope you will go to The Hague and get a job. Miriam, that is the only city in the world that has men who have got PhDs in international relations. Why? Also find out about it. Do you know that there are more PhD in international relations in The Hague? What do they study? Conspiracy theories. How Shell BP of Dutch is going to make a war work between Ojukwu and Yakubu Gowon. No. Thank you very much. God bless you, all of you. This station is for Africa, with Africa by Africa. Ja.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.